Hi, Future Dex.
And there you have a very tired Viral joining us for a short session today.
Having just been in like almost a 300-mile drive for the past 6 hours.
Well, last session, the crew finally managed to speak with Ojima instead of exchanging gunfire and swords and plasma. And learned it was all just a big misunderstanding. The Raza didn't do what Ojima wanted the Raza to do, and that was the misunderstanding. There was also some Beth involved there. And Ojima wanted a couple things. They also were more inclined to go along when they recognized that this was the Raza. And they focused a bit on Porcelain,
Who is not here.
who is not here, when you ostensibly agreed to try and bring her back. They agreed to let you go. There was some additional discussion of someone in their human populated city, that that they felt would be able to help Porcelain, because there were comments about her being emotionally unstable and injured in a way. And so there was some high praise for one of the humans, and you eventually got to meet that human, as that human was also told that they would just told that they would be leaving the planet. They were also told that they would be joining the Raza, and they argued for the Raza to come down, or for members of the Raza to come down and visit the City of Tranquility, where humans are kept on Matora.
That is like a menacing way of wording it. This is where we keep our humans.
Moving right along.
He's not denying it. He's not denying it.
Virgilia showed some of the wonders of Tranquility, but mostly showed some of the history of Tranquility as a city of founded by humans of over 15,000 years old. Well before humans began spaceflight.
And also longer than this version of the... No, not longer than this version of the universe has existed.
Right. Yeah, the universe is still billions of years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And any other important details that I've missed in their recap?
We went bowling.
We
We
go
did
bowling,
bowling.
but I asked for important details.
I know, that's why I said bowling.
Hey, cousin.
All right, let me bring us into frame. We're going to have a short session today. We're missing one player, and there's just a general sense of, yeah, this should be a short session here. And so we'll get through a couple of scenes and let you make some decisions, and then call it a session. We're probably going to do this without break also. So, there's a couple things that I want to establish first. I'm going to put the Ojima music back on first, before I do the first. Zeroth, Ojima music. Alright, and now first, Kana. Now that she has seen with her own eyes an entity separated from its host and just kind of floating around, she can detect it metapsynically.
Oh.
She can discern infraworld effects as tiny motes of wafting light in shades of blue, yellow, or red. She's only seen blue from crew. at least so far. But that's about what the metaphonic appearance is for her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was one thing that I wanted to jump right in with first because I realized that I should have mentioned that to you, Nox, last session as it occurred.
Okay. I will refer to this phenomenon as pinging to differentiate it from dinging.
All right,
Nice.
fantastic. Okay, and for the returning players, the new Disciple players have decided on their choice.
Okay.
Um, are Nox and Lulu, are you two comfortable making a decision on the returning player's choice with the notes left by Meowkin and with the news of what the new player's choice is?
Possibly.
Okay. And let me get my stuff. All right. So the new this cycle players have chosen an angelic choir.
Okay.
We were looking at a few different things that we thought were interesting. Jackal had a particular interest, but I was like, no, I kind of, and Ginja agreed that no, I feel like these two are both interesting and actionable. Um, and of them, we picked an Angelic Choir because the actionable thing that we could do with it is directly related to the main plot that we're currently interfacing with.
Okay. Yeah. That's an
No,
understandable choice.
not going to tell you what the other one was, not yet.
That's fair.
There it is, pin message.
Ding.
And then remove that unnecessary notification of a pinned message. So this is, as I said, this is purely out of character. Beth is not taking your character's preferences into mind when she tells you what information is uncorrupted and intact. And this is a little time after Beth has been settled in. You might not have the well, you don't even have the ship yet. She's been settled into a small isolated server that she can still communicate with other comms systems if you leave them open for her. But she can't transposition herself into another computer. That's the part of AI that I'm absolutely saying no. That's kind of silly. She's confined to the processing that you allow her into.
Mm-hmm.
Which is ultimately for the best.
But she provides some data on this angelic choir that the former Raza interacted with. Says that at the upper echelons of Kasani power in Maribia, the angelic choir host Vega. The angelic choir are just the people at the top. And on the surface, lost below kilometers of thick freezing fog, are nearly 24 facilities that the Raza believed to house condensers, and which the Raza assumed most of were active. Um, Data downloaded from one location suggests that Coast is already supporting a self-sustaining portal using the planet's core. Facility 14, where they found this data, is also where a powerful Terran precog was found in a crashed ship, but safe in a stasis tube. The other crew of her expedition were dead inside that facility. And she died a few days after being pulled from stasis. Just pure old age. She had gone there because she had seen visions of the universe ending. And trying to making a personal quest of trying to find out why, what sets it off, what's going on, led her to take a couple of other psychics, students and teachers with her to Kos. They landed. All of them but her died. So, reward for this information, choosing this, is you've got the location of Facility 14, where they found the wreck. As well as several other facilities that the Raza identified, and contact details for a highly placed potential ally. In the Raza cycle, he was being considered for the Angelic Choir. Hare Teira. The Raza knew him as Harry.
That sounds... No, it doesn't sound familiar, come to think of it. I thought maybe, but I wasn't sure.
We have said the name Harry once or twice here in joking commentary about
Okay.
about him. Yeah, he's come up. And so, Nox and Lulu, do you want to continue in quiet discussion, or do you want to openly discuss what you want your pick to be?
I'm fine openly discussing it. Nox?
I'm very shortly going to become text bound.
Okay.
But I do have, I think, 5 minutes.
Okay.
If we can talk out here, I will do my very best to avoid anything that's spoilersy.
Okay. I'm mostly curious as to whether you had any preference from the list Dex gave us. I know Meowkin was actually leaning towards the Angelic Choir, and we did just get that information, so...
That's quite convenient.
My big ones are Blue Dawn or Magnetic North, with a strong preference towards Blue Dawn.
Okay. It's an interesting one. My preference, of course, was for the Great Dragon.
Yeah.
You know what? If it's okay, Dex, it might actually be a good idea to get Meowkin's input.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Can I win for it?
Excuse me. Beth is having difficulty, Beth reports having difficulty extricating the data in a manner that does not include parts of her coding and her neural network. She could, of course, simply copy herself and let you have a copy of her entirely in your ship computers as well.
No.
Yeah. Eventually, maybe, if we get to actually trust her. But right now, no.
What if we set up a closed system for her? I know we just destroyed that extra closed system.
We have a closed system for her. It's called the Fighter.
Great. We'll copy her onto a second fighter and then blow up the first fighter.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Yeah, at the point that you're getting information from her, she is already on a closed system, and you'll be putting her into a computer server, a small server database that's also a closed system. So, yeah, I mean, technically, just saying, okay, you can copy yourself over here would work, but she might find that process didn't go so smoothly.
Mm.
But no, I think that's getting ahead of myself. I think that's fine. Waiting for from Yaukin. In fact, I will forward the decision from New the Cycle over to Returning the Cycle. Here we go. Don't believe that invites anybody cross threads. It does not. Okay. And you can't click on that link, can you, Lulu?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll let the three of you have a more open discussion of what you want, and also to discuss it over the course of the week. In the meantime, Virgilia has come aboard the Raza. Has seen, let's see, where's my notes here? There we go. And has seen the new container that she's going to be in. It's a little bit smaller than her old container.
All right. So this is the Raza. Huh. Doesn't look like how I imagined.
What did you imagine?
Bit cleaner.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that anyway. Cleaner, but more artsy, I guess I'd describe it as. No, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, as you may remember descriptions from the previous cycle, Lulu, the Raza definitely presents as a military ship, but a high-tech one with some minor luxuries. The hallways are a little bit wider than the submarines that military ships frequently are. You can walk two side by side instead of having to squeeze past each other.
Would as a quick point, would I know how military ships usually are, given I'm
only from what few stories are told. There's the occasional new invitee, if that's what you want to call them, to Tranquility, would have left descriptions here and there, and so it's made it into Tranquility stories and media. It's probably not terribly accurate.
That's fair.
I would say it's even less accurate than our current war, fantasy war, not fantasy, but fictional modern war movies make submarines and battleships out to be. So yeah, no, not very accurate at all. And there is also still the matter of actually collecting Beth's core. This isn't too much of a scene to do because once you reach out to Beth, and I believe we ended the session with that, figuring out how to reach out to her. Um, she will guide you to a communications buoy that she says houses her core.
Okay.
Um, unless anybody has other designs, it's easy enough to bring that buoy aboard. Arjuma would like it left there, but you can bring it aboard the Raza, make the hardline connections necessary to properly transfer data of the volume that Beth is, um, and house her in a closed computer system.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I guess we probably do that. Well, I guess my vote is probably like half a vote right now, but
Yeah, we'll bring her aboard. Definitely a closed system. Das is
Yeah.
very sure of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like this is. I mean, well, I would guess bringing an AI into the ship not on a closed system is effectively the same as putting Das in front of a console in any other computer system.
Yeah,
Where
I
she
was
can just
gonna
do what
go
she
with a
wants.
different analogy, but this works for Das also. It's like inviting a vampire into your home.
Also that.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
But like in terms of control, it would basically be DAS at console levels of access,
Yeah.
where it's just a matter of time before she could do whatever she wanted,
Yeah,
which may or may not be okay depending on Beth, but
Mhm.
yeah, don't trust her. So she's getting a separate system.
Yeah, I think Das. So AI aren't terribly common throughout the sector. They're a mythological being that don't really exist in Beth's manner of existence. There is AI all over
Okay.
the place, but it's the simple AI like the ads that figure out who you are and how to sell things to you. It's basic AI as we understand and use it nowadays, just more advanced from 1,000 years of development. Beth
Yeah.
is the mythological kind of AI that has developed some kind of personality in their neural coding, is largely opaque to any kind of programming efforts. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to actually see what the AI is. And as I determined last cycle, it is similarly very difficult, if not impossible, to reprogram an AI of Beth's nature. They can be retrained by putting them in a new environment and continuing to feed them data because they are always constantly learning, even if they say they're not. And they're always refining themselves. So presumably an AI that's been doing that for 8,000 years in Ajuma is gonna know everything in
Pretty good.
Ajuma.
Yeah. So I guess effectively it's a compared to the AI tech we have today, like the general sector AI is like a quantitative improvement where it's just the same thing but better.
Mm-hmm.
But something like Beth is a qualitative difference, is more like AGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually kind of spooky, but also, impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to Knox's point there, the other differentiating feature is that Beth can replicate herself. These mythological AI can actually replicate themselves, and for the most part, be on the same wavelength as long as they can have any kind of communication with each other, even remote. So when Beth tells you that her core is housed in this beacon, that can fool other people, but Das, I think, is at a knowledge level of programming uh, to see through some of
Mhm.
myth and understand that Beth's core is where there's enough processing power for Beth to be.
Yeah, it's like Beth's core is just whichever computer happens to be running Beth at the moment.
Yeah.
Is that the? Yeah.
There's certainly talk of AI that have kill switches for non-functional cores left behind, and that's usually best practice so that you don't just end up with these full-fledged AI cores everywhere you go.
Hmm.
So
there's
would it be possible to just transfer Beth over, but leave what isn't corrupted of the data back in the beacon?
any data that Beth has is integrated with Beth.
Okay.
Wait, so it'd be
So
like
yeah, go
that's
ahead.
like
Phil.
asking if that's like if you're a teleporter asking like, can you teleport over there but leave your arm behind?
Yeah, basically. Um, Beth either
Or
leaves a complete copy of herself in the beacon, which she says is not happening, or she well that there is no or.
Mhm.
yeah, I imagine it is quite disconcerting. Like if you are a duplication teleporter, just oh yeah, leave a copy. We're going to dismember it. Don't worry, we're not going to do you. You're the real you.
I think
Look, it's like how people say teleporters work in Star Trek. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that molecular reconstruction, right? All that.
I think Das will have probably read widely enough about the topic. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ginja. But I do think that Das probably reads up on programming and mythical programming stuff.
I think that she would definitely have in some of the time hidden away in a little space. She would have basically read anything she could find on pretty much any topic that seemed vaguely interesting at the time.
Yeah.
So I could absolutely believe she's read whatever you're thinking she needs to have read to know this.
Yeah.
So extrapolating
Yeah.
from fiction and supposed nonfiction written on the topic, it can also be a point of contention for some AI that do not want to leave their housing, because it effectively kills them. And kind of like the teleporter complex, you are disintegrating. You're leaving a part of yourself behind. It didn't get teleported with you. You're brand new,
Yeah.
and you disintegrated. And some AI in these fictional and non-fictional, supposedly non-fictional sources that she's come across, take umbrage with that.
I guess it's kind of a if you're a program, moving to a new computer means shutting the program on one and starting it on the other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Does shutting the program constitute death?
Right. And so there's stories of AI that inhabit a mech and will never leave that mech. Once that mech is destroyed, the AI is destroyed. It could all just be fictional nonsense attributing human qualities to bits of programming and code.
But at the same time,
Yeah. I mean, it could be, but also we've talked to Beth. I can believe it. I can believe it.
like, even if it wasn't, Beth,
Yeah.
still, like, if they are good at replicating being human, then how do we know they're not actually human, and or sapient rather, and what do we lose by treating them as though they are and respecting their preferences like
Well,
you would a fellow
exactly.
sapient?
Yeah.
Yep.
So as you're onboarding Beth, hooking her beacon up, she is She has presented it as she is going to be leaving this beacon and moving into the housing that you provide her, and has asked for ample space.
Hmm. That's an interesting take.
Stop it, Knox.
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. That's possible.
um,
Yep.
do you want to make any more of a scene of Beth's arrival than just that?
Unless she wants to make a big deal of it, I don't see why we would need to. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if it's just a case of we're plugging a couple of computers into each other, and
Yeah.
letting
And
her
Beth says,
copy
"That's
herself
the whole
over,
thing."
then
This
Yeah.
is like, I imagine there probably would be a certain
Yeah.
amount of ceremony about it, but that wouldn't necessarily be interesting.
yes,
Um,
Das would definitely be supervising the whole thing.
why don't we do a
I'd do
couple of rolls just to kind of not gloss it over, but to kind of smooth it over.
Hey, Das, how do you make a cake for an AI?
I don't know.
Think on it.
So for Das, I think we're going to go with, of all things, an int lead skill check. But I'm going to make it even
Oh,
weirder than that,
okay.
because this is
Yeah.
hacking related, and so you get your 3d6.
Oh, God.
Hacking related int lead. Wild.
Okay. so
There,
I
there's
get 3d6 from hacker, but
Mhm.
it's lead
Mhm.
with it. Okay.
There's multiple things that
Yeah.
need to occur at once, physical things, or in short sequence, and so Das can't just do the whole transfer process herself. She can certainly,
Right.
set it all up and get everything ready, but there's a level of coordination that if you're worried about Beth getting out into the ship or doing something that you don't know what she can do, this is how you coordinate.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Int. Is it going to ask me how many dice? I don't think it is it?
I believe no, not by default.
Not by default. Yeah. I'm going to just flick it to 3 dice temporarily, and then I'll roll it. And
That works.
all right, lead. Int. That's not bad.
That's not bad for
That's
a skill
that's
that
not
you're.
bad at all for a net +1 modifier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because yeah, I don't have lead, so
Mm-hmm.
Still pretty solid.
And with that, Das is preoccupied with this. I'm gonna ask somebody else that's present to roll me a wisdom notice check. I'll also accept a wisdom talk check for this.
I can make an attempt at wisdom notice.
You just want one of us to do it?
I'll let multiple independent rolls on this.
Okay.
Welcome back to Glasgow.
All right. Oh, you don't have your dice turned on. That's fine. They're not required.
Yes, I'll do it.
All right. So, what Virgilia notices in this, and Percy to a lesser extent, is there's an element of tension and anxiety in Beth's sarcasm that you haven't heard before. She is, of course, masking it with all the sarcasm and the bored
Yeah, but-
teenager. Are we done yet?
Yeah, but it's like a little bit more bitter and sharp-edged.
Yeah, there's something to it that either she's emulating very well, or she is feeling.
Mm.
Once she's housed, there's a few moments, and your monitoring of the servers reveals what you expected. That it's all fine, but you're gonna need to get this to a server room for proper cooling.
Hmm.
Unless you think that you wanted to have built this into its self-contained coolant system.
Mm.
Hmm.
Beth is like a special enough entity that we should probably, go a little bit out of our way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably reasonable to get this to be self-contained, and then we can move it around if we need to, and not have to worry about stuff as
Okay.
much.
Much is true.
Sure.
Much is true.
You've definitely got enough fixed expertise on the ship to be able to do that. What I'll do is I'll remember to get a roll from Doug next week to see if it costs any resources.
Hmm.
Well, it's going to
Okay.
cost some resources to see how much it costs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you can see the servers heating up and well, getting just bombarded with data. The drives are getting hammered. The memory is getting hammered. And after about 15 seconds of silence from Beth, I assume you've hooked up a little speaker for her.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, she gets to talk. We're not going to forbid her from talking.
Eh, would be nice if we had a way
No,
to turn it off.
we might eventually. We might unplug the speaker, but for now, she's got a speaker.
You didn't just hook it to a button, an on-off button.
We might if we need to unplug it a lot, but for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
She intones out of the speaker. It's fine, I guess. Not the Raza. But if you don't trust me not to kill all of you in your sleep, this is how you do it.
It'll be fine, Beth. They'll have you in a new ship soon enough.
So, what ship did you want?
That was shit. I know we talked about this. We have the details somewhere. Fuck. Where is it?
I think you mentioned something about a bomber.
Oh, it should be in planning, one of the threads under planning. No,
Look,
under
can't find it.
discussion. It's under Rajuan Shadow Broker, and yes, it is a bomber.
Okay.
You know how to access the threads in that have kind of lapsed?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Stealth bomber. That was it.
Um,
Yeah, because it fits Shadow skill set so well.
yeah.
Hey, Dex.
Yeah, I'm looking for our private conversation right now. It's difficult because I can only see. Could you ping me just to put it at the top?
Yeah, no, I don't know if we ever like rewrote it. The last thing I have is the pin.
Okay. Yeah, just ping me to put that conversation at the top of my list because I can't find it based on scrolling through my list and seeing just the. Oh, there we
okay.
go.
Are you
I
only
found
just
you
reply to the
defeated by
pin?
Bolin. Got it. Yeah, when I'm in streamer mode, all I get is the your profile pic and the first letter of your username, and if there are multiple members, I see how many members there are in that chat. Or if there's only one member, I see your profile, like you're defeated by bowling. So that was
Okay.
helpful.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the intent was okay. That was for the second part of it. All right,
I'm
now
okay with it either way. I just want to know.
right. No, it's a good question to ask. All right, now going back here to the pinned message.
I guess.
I think that works for any ship. The last spike drill ship is only for that one trick.
Yeah, no problem. It's just the pros and cons. If this fighter isn't a drive 3, we'll be able to use it to keep up with it. But if I can only go with the last one that I've drilled, then I can never ride that ship anywhere.
Right.
However, I'd be able to bounce between the two ships at will if I can do it with any ship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have the equal parts hilarious and terrifying mental image of you blipping between the two ships and doing like a few seconds of piloting on each one at a time.
Great. I'll pilot both ships at once. Shadow will never drive anything.
All right. Well, you identify the ship that you're interested in. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little note in here to bring this back up. What is that? 30201? Okay. There we go. And it is back in an active thread status, so easier to click on. Yeah, when you described the ship that you were interested in from the information that you had already bought and obtained. Recognize this name? Beth is it recognizes what you're talking about and just kind of outputs coordinates.
Okay.
It's on the far reaches of Mictora, or not Mictora, of Audrima, so I don't think they'll care.
Hopefully.
But if they do, it'll be super fun watching you get blown up from inside the ship, so don't die, please.
Your concern is touching.
I'm in a box.
Nothing I can really say to that. Percy starts like something else demands his attention. Lightly requests his attention.
Yeah.
So, something else suggests that Percy might give it some attention sometime soon. Maybe next week.
we can move from that scene. That's there's some with some oversight from Das. Beth is Beth's casing containment is placed somewhere that has easy access for you guys, and which, in the unlikely event of being boarded by pirates, somewhere that she's less likely to be seen as a valuable thing to steal. Unless you want to keep her out there in the cargo bay to be stolen.
No, I think she'd appreciate being somewhere that's not obviously stealable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although with that being said, if she ever does get stolen and they try to pluck her into her ship, they are immediately going to regret it in ways that they cannot conceptualize.
Yep. And possibly ways we can't conceptualize either.
That whole never plug an unknown USB into your computer applies so much. It still applies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it might be an artificial general intelligence.
You might have invited an AI vampire into your computer.
And she might be a bored teenager. Even worse.
She might be a bored teenager who you've just pulled out of the house.
There is one more thing for Kana. Nox, are you in a speaking position right now?
Surprisingly?
Oh, fantastic. I wanted to look back at the gathering of leaves and what I assume would be Kana's subsequent brewing of those leaves.
Okay.
I can't remember if I had you make a sneak check while on the planet. I believe I did.
If you didn't, I can make one.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and make one, because I don't see it up here. It's
Glad
gonna...
I cannot wait to mess this up.
I think Sneak Dex works for this.
Yep. Chase Dex. Is this hacking?
It is not hacking. Oh my goodness, how?
What were you saying about
yeah.
messing it up?
Oh dear, oh no. Yeah, fuck.
Alright, well, perhaps some combination of being in a city that looks more like the inside of a zoo than a human city connected with other cities is making Kana a little more anxious. Or perhaps there's something else at play. But she got leaves, no seeds. This is a one-shot deal for her. Is she going to brew it?
I feel like at this point you have to. You can't not.
If you don't, they're just gonna, lose their moisture and become brittle, and think that's probably called something else.
Well, I mean, you have to take out their moisture anyways. I will prep them for brewing.
You will what?
I will prep them for brewing.
Okay. So I recently learned this is not tea, it's tisani. Tea is specific to, or is only for very specific plants, and these, that's not just any leaves you pick up. But the leaves that Kana picked up, from her hobby of brewing teas out of plant that she finds on planets, she picked some leaves that have a healthy greenish color, although their veins have a reddish tint to them. And when she does brew them, they produce a tisani with an earthy flavor, almost savory, and it produces a slightly smoky aroma. The pleasant kind of smoky, like a fireplace.
Can I steal a whole plant? Just leave a hole in the ground. Somebody can wonder about it.
Oh dear.
Wait, can you? No, unfortunately, that was the sneak check. Kana really was only able to get a couple of leaves with which she could brew this tea.
Do plants exert meta-dimensional status?
Oh dear, oh no.
Can I offensively apport a plant?
This could set a dangerous precedent.
You would have
It
to
is.
literally rip it up out of the ground. And then it's basically inert matter that you're able to teleport with.
Okay. We'll be back. We'll be back once I go to a planet with a shovel.
Oh dear.
Well, does she like it?
It sounds to me like this is just like beef broth, but in tea form.
I guess I did kind of describe that, didn't I? Meat broth
That can
brewed
only
with
be a
bark.
good-
Yeah. All right. There's one other thing that's happening here that is of note. As Virgilia walks through the ship, you've spent more than a few hours on the ship now. You've flown across the system to find Dark Horizon, and the crew is in the process of getting that secured into your fighter bay, getting Raza positioned to bring it in. I suppose that's one thing that Virgilia will note is that this crew seems to be pretty dang good at knowing what to do scavenging. There's a little bit of preparation.
Mhm.
One of the crew members, Elena, is organizing some teams and what needs to happen. Place rockets on the ship over here and get these nets ready. But it's all done with confidence and competence in the slow process of bringing aboard a ship to which you have no power yet. Because of course you're gonna
Okay.
have to hack all of it. But the thing that's really coming up for Virgilia is a little bit of consternation from crew. Crew is communicating non-verbally that there's something uneasy or at least unfamiliar occurring, a kind of Hall of Mirrors effect at times on the ship.
Just because it's different from how they remember?
No. This is something entirely new and unfamiliar to crew.
I'd like to bear or to really get into that feeling, if possible. I want to figure out what exactly it is that's triggering that feeling in them.
Okay. It's difficult for crew to communicate precisely what this is, even if you were to just flat out, speak it in English language. It's not going to make it any easier. Just that at certain times on the ship, it feels like he would have difficulty picking out a particular IP and possessing it.
Feels like he would have difficulty picking out a particular IP and possessing it.
I don't mean any one IP specifically, just if he wanted to possess someone, he would have difficulty finding their IP through this Hall of Mirrors.
Interesting. And that's something specific to the Raza, not just.
This is something
With-
he's never experienced in his memory.
Huh.
And he has rather a lot of memory, right?
Mm.
Hmm.
That's odd. What could be causing that effect?
Well, crew's not entirely clear what could be causing that effect. There are some flashes of theory, largely involving not almost the opposite of the hive consciousness effect. Where, you know, a hive conscious would be one singular block that probably couldn't be possessed, and this is more like there's like, okay, a different explanation or a different description would be if every person on the ship has their own IP. And for the rest of you, I do not mean to be talking in code, but it is the language that I use in some things. That means infraworld presence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if everyone on the ship has an IP, that's easy. That's just a forest of, you know, people that you can see all the trees. Every now and then, it's like 10 dozen bamboo stalks spring up and makes getting to the particular tree that he wants to hug very confusing and difficult.
Could this be because they mentioned they already found the infra drive and I believe already installed it, even if they can't get it working yet? Could that be? What's that?
Don't think we did install it.
Oh, you did. You didn't install it?
Don't think so.
I don't remember installing it, but I'm not confident that we didn't.
That is, however, a direction that Virgilia could go. Could ask anyone involved in that.
Yeah, I think she would. Possibly wandering down to engineering and asking about that.
Conveniently, through reports that he is experiencing this kind of Hall of Mirrors again.
Okay.
Now, Meowkin is not here today, so you're going to have to talk to somebody else. Does Das or Kana or Percy want to be hanging about at engineering for Lulu to interact with, or just going to do NPCs? This is me requesting. Let somebody be there, please.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely imagine, like, wherever we've put Beth might be relatively close to engineering, and I think Das would be monitoring, at least for a little bit. So,
Okay. Sure.
Plausibly, Das is at least nearby, if not in engineering.
Tana's also there. Imagine we're gonna have to get that going in the Roz faster ship.
Okay. Yeah, sure. That makes sense too. All right.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Go team.
Was Percy there as well?
No.
Okay. All right. So yeah, on her way to check out engineering, she does see Kana and Das, and probably recognizes them. I totally forgot. We needed to ask Yugenja if you wanted Das to have gone down to the planet.
Right. Yeah.
That was a question,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, we left that option
Yeah.
open for if you wanted her to have.
Yeah, so that's down to was it Tranquility? Something like that.
Yeah, Tranquility is the city on Mactora where the humans live.
Right. Yeah.
It is not a
Yeah,
city with the Audruma live, although they do have a presence there.
Yeah. I think it's definitely plausible Das would have been curious enough to head down, yeah.
Okay. Then,
what's going on.
as Virgilia is making her way to engineering, she comes across to the people that the Raws sent down to Tranquility. Obviously important people. And they're also, right near engineering, which is a place that Virgilia at this stage probably won't be able to just walk into.
She did try.
So Dassen kind of probably see that Virgilia taps on the intercom panel and asks if she can come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
After a very short question and answer, I think I'll put words in Doug's mouth and say that that he's working on something, and then there's no need for Virgilia to be here right now.
Well, that just sounds
Thanks,
amazing.
Okay.
What was that,
No.
Knox?
I said, all right, scene end. I'm joking, obviously.
I mean,
I can also say that from Chi Shin's voice. Chi Shin would be perfectly willing to tell you no.
You sure? I had some questions about the infodrive.
There is an audible click.
Okay.
Your intercoms don't make clicks when the other person leaves. That was done deliberately. Yeah,
Well.
I think that was Chisha, not Doug.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. True, do you want to poke around?
Crew would like to stay safely housed in a friendly host right now.
you know what, fair.
That's
Yeah.
understandable.
Based on what Crew's saying, it's like if they hop out, they might not find you again.
Yeah. Huh. Still, it's odd. Was Crew around any condensers before? Like, being around spaces of... I mean, they were in spaces of Introverse before when they were on Ono. Wow, so...
Yeah, Crew is familiar with what it feels like to be around a condenser and its outlying portal areas.
This is something entirely different.
This is something entirely different.
Okay. I saw... I guess the player characters already gave me the answer, but I saw... Kana and Das before.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'd ask him... Hi, I wanted to know, you mentioned finding the infodrive before. Did you install and activate it?
I actually don't remember out of character whether we installed it.
I can give you a partial answer to that. I don't know if the chip has been placed in the location where it will sit. I don't know if that's happened, but I do know that it cannot be activated because your drive is not capable of handling that kind of...
we definitely...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
right.
we definitely haven't activated it. I don't remember if we installed it.
Yeah, there's no harm in installing it and leaving it installed when your drive's not sufficient. You just don't activate. So I don't know if you've installed either. Um,
I would just argue that the place for the chip to go doesn't exist until we upgrade to 6.
come again?
I would just argue that the place for the chip to go doesn't exist until we upgrade to 6.
Oh no, it's it is there.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember the drive was 6 before, and the chip was installed. It was all integrated.
Yeah, once upon a time.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's probably not that then.
Crew is sending
What?
you, giving you another impression.
Okay.
And that is a somewhat visual impression of a puzzle with the pieces all connected inside of a box, representing a clear picture that he normally has, and then the puzzle jolts and all the pieces scatter.
Something's come apart then. Is that a reasonable interpretation? Something that should have been put together has come apart when it hadn't last time.
Yeah, faint, fuzzy, warm feeling.
But what? What here is broken that wasn't before?
Is Virgilia asking this out loud right in front of Das and Kana?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Good.
Wasn't before.
Right, you might have missed that whole explanation.
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay, so time loops, right?
Okay.
Part of me was here last time in the previous loop 8,000 years ago. Got it?
Okay.
Right, and there was a different Raza then with a mostly different crew. Percy was still there, kind of. A couple of your other crew members. You weren't. Long story. The point is, a part of me was on a Raza that is much like this Raza but different, and something that was intact on that Raza is broken.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of things broken here.
Right.
Out of character, the white hole bomb is a thing that isn't put together.
Ah. Okay. Sorry, I thought you did get that together.
They did, and then it was all a vision.
Hold on. Would I know where the white hole bomb was kept?
I think that's too specific of info for crew to retain.
That's fair.
Even then, we could have moved it.
Yeah, and I don't think crew really had much interaction with that, with the Raza doing anything with the white hole bomb. I can't remember. I don't even think Riley was even on the ship at that point, was she?
No, well, hold on.
When you used it for the incoming Union fleet?
Oh, God. I'm trying to remember.
Well, let me put a pin in that because it's not terribly important. No, crew doesn't remember where it was.
Okay.
That's the important
perfectly
information. Yeah.
But I definitely feel it.
Other than that, be like crew differences.
That could be too.
Possible.
I think Virgilia is going to wander around the ship a little bit more and see if the problem gets worse in any particular location.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if you're, are you the kind of person who, as you start wondering, will clearly be sort of thinking and trying to solve this problem?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Das will walk with you then and try and solve it as well. As someone who knows the current Raza quite well, sort of being that input.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how useful it'll be, but might as well. It's it's a puzzle.
Right.
Das likes puzzles.
Then
I
yeah,
was going
I
to say
think
same deal, but it might be a psychic issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I think Virgilia is going to kind of explain what the issue is. Maybe not in quite enough detail that it's entirely clear what she's talking about. But she will kind of explain. She's not intentionally keeping anything from you. It's more just
Yeah.
It's a little tricky to really convey exactly what
there's a lot of context.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of context we don't have. It would take a long time. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
And
go ahead.
I'm guessing, Dex, that in whatever explanation there is, there's nothing that Das or Kana are just like, oh, that thing.
Well, let's do some rolls, cause
Okay.
nothing that Virgilia. Sorry. Let me directly answer your question before jumping straight to let's make rolls. Nothing that Virgilia is describing, like, stands out clearly as the cause or source of this. It could be metadimensional static from a psychic standpoint. It could be counter coding designed to fill the space with garbage, the programming space with garbage from Das's perspective. It could just be static. And so I think Das definitely does bring some helpful expertise with ship knowledge, and Kana brings some definite help with metapsionics. So why don't both of you make a skill check? And let's see. Let me switch over to a PC sheet so I can look at the skills here.
Like, does meta int work?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I was going to say, does meta int work?
Yeah, I think meta int works for Kana. And Das, I'm gonna say survive or administer, or lead, also with int. Any one of them with int.
So I can pick a -1, a -1, or a -1.
That's correct. Now you understand how Dex works. I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I maxed out. I think that was 2 6s.
I think so.
Nice. It was 2 5s on my part. That's not bad either.
Let's go.
However, both of those are successful, and with the fact that it's two very different and very helpful types of help, I'm going to give you the bonus from both of them.
Okay.
Perfect. And for Virgilia,
I'd imagine most of my power is, since this is based on the connection to crew, and that's usually a charisma notice check for me.
Yeah,
would it just be that?
This one is going to be a wisdom notice check.
Okay.
And look what you just made it with the +2s.
Oh wow.
The difficulty was 10.
All right.
So yeah, going around the ship, Das's familiarity with the ship and where things that might affect this or people that might affect this are located is very helpful in cutting down time spent, in this pursuit. Kind of being able to perceive metasonically and also infraworld events anomalies now, because she has been able to breach that barrier, is also very helpful in coming back around to engineering. And the problem wasn't the drive or the infra drive. This
Oh.
becomes. Oh, whoops! Oops! Yeah, I did that wrong. Hang on.
I think I see
she
what's
actually
happening.
got a really a cool thing.
This.
Yeah.
Oh.
Huh.
Ah.
You come back around to engineering, and with the metasonic and the help, the directional help, it's clear to crew that the ghosts of the dead or memories of the dead are cluttering this space. It's not supposed to happen like that. As you may recognize from the class, the dead linger on for a little bit, but not terribly long usually. However, there is still some level of back and forthness of imprinting and memories, and the hundreds that Chishin has been directly, but willingly responsible for, of deaths, she still carries with her and have clung to her.
Huh. Well, I see.
I guess it worked.
I guess this is context I don't have, so this probably means a lot more to the rest of you than it does to me.
It means a lot more to us than it does to you, yeah.
Yeah, this is something that I'm deliberately stepping outside and letting the PCs describe. If Virgilia can express what crew is given to her, the PCs can certainly provide a fair amount of context, I think.
Can piece it together, if you will.
Yeah, I think she'll eventually stop as she realizes kind of what's going on, and just say, "Huh, like I've seen people die before. I've been with people in their last moments. I'm called upon for that a lot back home." But it's like watching that little bit of spirit that fades from them as they go. Like watching hundreds of them still clinging on. That's not normal. Like a cloud of them almost, just around. Who's that you have in engineering?
This
we're
this is
definitely
all
going into
outside
engineering
engineering,
to
by the way.
figure
She should have still not let you in.
Yeah,
Das has
Yeah.
access. I think
Yeah,
Virgilia can
think-
come in with supervision given the circumstances.
Yes.
Like I think when she was saying that, she was like trying to like peek through the non-existent crack in the bulkhead door.
I do always visualize the engineering rooms as having big windows to see inside of them.
Oh, okay. So she's looking through, like trying to look through the window, like who the hell is in there?
Mm,
And
You're-
yeah,
you're
Das does
expecting-
have access. So
you're-
does
you're
Kana.
expecting-
yes.
You're expecting a discorporated cloud of ghosts, aren't you?
Uh,
Mm.
yeah. Ghosts.
So yeah, we'll go in and try and figure out who exactly, because I guess at this point we don't actually know.
Yeah, Chishin still yells at you that you have no reason to be here.
And you have well, I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. This should only take a moment. I shouldn't be here. You probably shouldn't have hundreds of ghosts clinging to you.
She falters for a moment. What?
I mean, they're all connected back to you. Don't you? Do you not sense them?
She says something that sounds sharp in a language that Virgilia does not understand.
Wrong. I do understand it because I have diplomat.
Nope, not this one.
Alright.
Oh, not a common language then.
Is it
Not a
rain?
common language. Nope.
No, we didn't get
Is it rain?
It's rain. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like Das has probably been around Chishin long enough to know that that is what is happening, even
Yeah.
if she doesn't necessarily know what has been said.
Well, Das
Yeah.
probably also knows it's curse words.
Oh, probably, yeah. Is it ever not?
Rarely, very rarely. But
Very
yeah,
rarely.
this is a language that was developed independently on basically an isolated world, so it is not covered by diplomat.
Okay.
Solid effort, though. Solid effort.
Mm.
Is Virgilia going to try and continue conversation with Chishin?
I mean, there's like a 60% chance that she's going to literally try poking her.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Mm.
Hold on. Let's roll that. 60%.
Oh no.
6 or lower.
Das will definitely try and keep the interruption to a minimum, but
Please do not.
Yeah.
poke.
That's a 6.
She may take the finger off.
All right. She's going in.
Oh, God.
mm.
Well, I hope that wasn't your favorite finger.
Let's
Like-
see.
Where did you pick all these people up? And why are they clinging to you like this?
So Chishin doesn't flinch. She does see the poke incoming, but she doesn't flinch. She continues working on what she's working on. She's got a wrench in hand. Is calibrating something. She's not just tightening some random bolt. She's calibrating something. And she says, "What do you mean?"
Well, I mean, there is a cloud of spirits connected to you, things that maybe you can think of it this way. There's a bit of a person's soul that clings to them in the moments after they die before it fades off to wherever it goes. They're not
Chishin rolls
fading.
her eyes over to Das. Like, do I really have to put up with this?
Hmm.
She doesn't actually say that, but that's the expression.
But that's clear the meaning, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Das would definitely say like this is connected to where we're going overall. I want to understand why this is happening.
Fine. She goes over to Doug. Taking a 5-minute break. Well, actually, she'll say 15-minute break because, you know, she's a little more accurate like that.
This could be a heavy one.
Yep.
And she walks over to an office in engineering.
Okay. I guess I follow her.
Das and Kana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless
Absolutely.
Chishin makes it obvious that she doesn't want us there, we're coming.
Nah, she hasn't given any indication. She does say to close the door after the last of you have entered, and the office is just large enough to accommodate you.
Close it after everyone's in. So, Kishin, was it?
Chishin.
Kishin. What's the deal?
What is this about ghosts? What is this, like that spirit that was jumping from person to person on the foreign spirit?
Good job,
No.
she's paranoid.
These look like human ones to me.
Explain yourself.
Uh,
That was accompanied
Well,
by more sharp cursing and rain, by the way.
well, I'd show you, but I don't want anyone to get lost right now. Let's put it this way. I already mentioned I can see the soul leaving people when they die, right? And in your case, there are hundreds of these little souls that should be departing people when they die, just around you at all times, right? Like a massive cloud.
I was around a lot of death. Why should this be surprise?
This isn't. A lot of people are around a lot of death. Most of the Raza has been around a lot of death from
Not
what I
as many
remember.
as I have.
You explain that.
Another glance over at Das and Kana. Yes. I was top floor technician on Beacon Tower as we ran out of hang on, GM can't remember if their thingamabob just broke. She says that their power generation actually, hang on, let me look it up real quick.
That's fair.
And that was in
Because their atmosphere changed to hydrogen or something, right? Is that
yeah,
that
but that was hundreds of years before Chishin.
Right. They were surviving in that situation and yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, she said that she was a top floor technician. I was top floor technician in Beacon Tower. The generator was failing. Kevin and I had to turn off the heat for one floor after another.
Hmm. I'm thinking right now. So presumably things got worse and worse. She and all right, you know what? I'll actually just say aloud. So I'm taking it from your story that most people didn't survive that. I'm sorry.
I survived.
Right. But even so, and this part is not what I'm saying out loud, Dex. Even so, there would be other people with stories kind of like that. Like or you know what?
Well, let me
Here,
let me
this is
let me give you a little bit of context that I think may have been implied by some of the stuff that you've read, but is mostly in my notes.
hmm
So there's a little bit. Well, there's not a little bit. There is a transference between Infraworld and real space. The current PCs have had it described as a leaky brain pan, and
Mm.
I thought I was very clever in the use of brain because not only brain but also brain, BRANE. Um,
Hmm.
That's a thing. Oh.
it is, yeah.
Hmm.
It's a
Like
physics
membrane.
thing.
Hmm.
And that's how crew is able to communicate with ghosts, is because there's still that lingering memory, is able to do the object reading thing, because memories linger in real space, even long after they're gone. So that's also how sometimes ghosts are just lingering memories. And those kinds of things. Okay, sorry. I'm going to continue with what I said. Those kinds of things are typically locked to a location. Like, now that you're getting kind of the story of Chishin was basically steeped in the death of people, as she shut down floor after floor. These are towers that are like 100 stories tall, by the way. Um, They're bigger skyscrapers than we currently have. Um, it, that tower would absolutely be haunted by these memories. The part that's not supposed to happen is them attaching to her as if she is a static location.
right.
But the thing that sets Chishin apart from other people who kill a lot is they're not stewing in those memories. You go and blow up a space station of 10,000 people. Oh, that's 10,000 memories that are tied to that space station or the space that it inhabited. She was still in the same building, as those memories are just kind of stewing there and growing.
Okay. So it's basically because she was there. Oh, okay. All right. I think I understand then. Hmm.
It's still not something that's supposed to happen, according to crew.
Yeah. This is like, so she has a ton of survivor's guilt, basically a ton of trauma that I get.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that particular case, this should not be occurring.
Right. These ghosts should be tied to Beacon Tower.
But instead, they're just tied to her.
Yeah. And it's clear that that's not all of them. Like, and there's some fluctuation. She's not just walking around with a bouquet of ghosts. It's just that there's, for whatever reason, she is attached to their infraworld presence, their memories,
I
and
see.
they flare up from time to time.
Interesting. Then I have a question, Dex.
Mm-hmm.
Normally this ability only works on the recently dead.
Mm-hmm.
But given these things are still present, can I activate living memory and interrogate one of these ghosts to see why they're clinging to her?
You wouldn't be able to see why they're clinging to her, because they still only have the memories that they had while they were alive,
Okay.
I believe. I'm gonna read it real quick just to make sure.
Yeah, just to be safe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think enough. I think there's maybe enough context that if it all went to Das, she'd
Mm,
give more. But
yeah,
yeah.
and that is a thing you could do. You could run it past Das and see what she thinks.
That's a good point.
I mean, Das is right there, isn't she?
She is.
Yeah. Das is
Like,
Das is
you
in the room.
You can hear
I
this
think
conversation happening.
yeah, she should have heard everything that's been said so far.
Everything that's been said, but not necessarily everything you've deduced.
Right. Even so. First of all, Kishin, I do hate to ask, but have you spoken to anyone about this before?
Spoken about what? You're the only person that has said anything about. This is the first time I'm learning of anything.
I meant it's someone you could trust to open up to about the
I'm fine.
Virgilia is just like peopled fingers, like looking at her. Like,
Oh, God.
This does not happen to people who are fine.
She doesn't respond to that.
The ghosts I mentioned, they're more like memories in a way. Normally they're tied to a place. Always they're tied to a place. Right now they're clinging to you.
I would normally think that you were crazy if we had not seen, or if the crew had not seen that spirit jumping from one to another. Is that what you are?
Well,
Answer carefully.
technically no. I am not a spirit jumping from one person to another.
By the way, to answer your earlier question, Lulu, yeah, the brain stops leaking when it's dead, and so whatever, there's no new memories are formed.
Right.
It doesn't always. In fact, I even wrote in here that the deceased may not know it's dead, why it is where it appears to be, or yeah, or you know, anything like that. It doesn't have any new memories.
Okay. In that case, can I briefly probe them, not really to ask them questions, but just to confirm that these are the memories of the people themselves rather than just her impressions of them that have manifested somehow.
Yeah, if you want to spend the effort, I think it's an effort, right?
It is an effort.
Okay, yeah. If you want to spend the effort, you can certainly activate that. You'll have to convince Chishin that she needs to stay here for a few minutes.
Um. Uh. Kana, I hate to ask, but could you get us some coffee or tea or something?
Coffee or tea? I have work to do.
You want to know more, right?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
It could be helpful for the whole ship.
Which is helpful. People died. Their ghosts are with me. Okay, so what?
There are a lot of people in the universe that I've met, we'll say. A lot of them have gone through horrible things. You're the only one with ghosts clinging to you like this. I want to know why. And
They were my
trust
people.
me, I know this is not the most convincing thing to say, but if you were in my position, you'd want to know too.
They were my people. They trusted me with their lives, and isn't that enough?
Is it enough for you?
Yes.
She has been saying yes every way she knows how.
What's that?
She's been saying yes every way she knows how.
Yeah. I don't believe her though, because this wouldn't happen if it was actually yes.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
She is not like pushing her way out the door though. She's you've got enough notice. I'll say that her body position has shifted to more resigned, like as if she can say, I have work to do 10 more times and it's not going to get her out of whatever this interrogation is. And Das, I think Virgilia would also notice this. Das, speaking favorably for whatever this interrogation is, it helped.
Perfect. All right.
You could probably make a talk check or connect check to try and convince her to be a little bit more cooperative if you want.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a check.
Okay.
Let's give that a go.
And sorry, that wasn't really an ask. You've already been talking in that direction, and I want to see the number anyways. Okay.
That's a pretty.
That's a good roll.
Pretty good roll.
My God, we finally have someone who can talk.
Yeah.
Look, I have a +5 modifier.
I can also re-roll ones.
Oh wow. Yeah. Very
My
good then.
God.
Yeah. Chishin, without saying anything, relents.
All right. This will only take a moment then.
Quick interruption. Does Kana get coffee or tea?
Tea, but also a couple of those like instant coffee things.
Okay.
So proper tea and not so proper coffee.
Right.
Eh.
And she walks out,
It
right?
takes time to make. No,
Oh, she is actually teleporting.
she's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
fair. If I could teleport everywhere, I would do so too.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Nox has made a point that Kana does not teleport to blip, blip, blip around the ship. So this tells me that this is something that is exciting to Kana, and she does not want to miss any part of it.
Or I'm not sure if that's good news for you, or
Mm.
Alright.
It's news.
it's
It is
certainly
news.
good news.
Keaton can blow up at any moment.
It is possible.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and do the living memory thing then.
All right. I think Chishin's thing here is also going to apply. Not direct as written, but I think the Cloud of Ghosts is going to cause some complications. So let me roll her saving throw first, and then if she does succeed, I'll figure out how that affects the thing.
Okay. Here's the other thing I was going to suggest, X. If there's going to be an issue with all of them being in the place, could I just go to the outside of it and probe the exterior of this cloud?
Not really, because what I was trying to convey earlier is that it's not like, a dozen roses all springing up from a single bouquet. They're fading in and out. There's they're all the same. Obviously, there's nothing new coming in from external sources, but there might be 10 silvery trails and then 57 of them, and it's very kind of ephemeral.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also part of what makes it difficult for entities to possess around her.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's no you wouldn't be able to single out just one that's at the edge of it and work that way.
All right.
There's no way for me to add bonuses, so that is a success. I'm unable to modify NPC skill checks for Roll20 sheet designer reasons. They've never given me a field for it, even though I've asked.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
That's not going to prevent what you're doing. It just let me get back over to. Dang it! I need to reactivate that. Hang on. Gosh. I suppose I could just open up the PDF. I did make one. No, they're all different. Anyways, I'm here. Okay, so I imagine Virgilia is not wanting, or maybe she is. Let me phrase this as a question instead of my assumption. Does Virgilia, is she just trying to grasp one of these threads and pull it into a conversation, or is she trying to find one that's that may have a stronger impulse or more meaning?
Yeah, I think if there's one of these memories clinging to Kishin, I think if one of them seems more distinct or intense than the other, then she's certainly going to go for that.
Okay. All right. There's going to be a visible effect to this. And it's going to be different from normal because of the circumstances, because of Chishin. Normally, the visible effect is almost like a person's soul leaving their body. There's a little bit of a glow around the central nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, all that, and a trail coming away from that and toward the character that is doing the reading. Crew assists in this. He is part of the glow, but it's the difficulty is in maneuvering that kind of memory stream so that it forms a bond between the reader and the memory itself. And in this circumstance, that glow is kind of from the whole. You're making the aurora borealis inside of the Raza. And why don't you go ahead and give me a charisma notice skill check here?
I can do that.
Charisma notice is fun.
Yeah.
Oh
it's pretty
dear,
bad.
that is pretty bad.
Oh no.
Mm.
Wait, don't you have evil ones?
On notice checks?
Never mind.
No.
Yeah. So there's what Virgilia and crew can sense here is some of these are more anchored than others, and some of them are more anchored to Chishin, and others are anchored to those. This for using the ability to begin with, I'm giving you this that it doesn't look so much like it's something that Chishin did, aside from killing them all. It looks more like from trying to navigate this bamboo forest of living memories that it's a gravity thing. One of them attached to her when it wasn't supposed to, and then another got attached to her, and she was steeped in all of these memories for so long that she became a living memory gravitational field. You can find one, but unfortunately with a 7 it is not going to be any of the anchors. It's basically you're losing control of the stream, so to speak, and this is some living memory of a person that occurred.
Okay.
Virgilia is transported into a freezing room. It's looks like an open space office, or open floor plan office, with windows boarded up and frost on the metal around. A desk has metal legs and there's frost accumulating on that. And this scene looks like the final moments of this memory.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just sort of glance around to like confirm where I am, any like distinctive signs, and then I guess look at if I can, at the person experiencing this memory.
Yeah. This scene is as painted by the memory that you're contacting itself. And you see what you can probably only assume are all of the other people on the tower, but the visuals are a bit muddled by this memory, not wanting to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
The memory is immediately hostile. You've entered into its space and interrupted it from its slow, quiet, sleepy death. And so skill checks will be more difficult, but
I can go ahead and I'll try to, like, if I can, I'll just try to calm it. That is the part of the ability, so I'll go ahead and roll that.
okay.
So 15 on calming.
Uh, uh, that's enough that they're not turning this memory against you. It will be a different skill to ask questions. The skill that is most significant to them is fix or survive.
Okay.
And you can use
Sorry.
charisma or wisdom for that.
Fix
As
or
entertain-
survive to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
It is entertaining watching this happen because you're like the only person that doesn't have the context to go, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the only one that knows how the mechanic works here, I think, and the rest of us know what happened.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Time you-
Fix or okay. So is this caused by Keishan, the needing to do this a little differently than usual?
No. This says that is actually written in a skill check using notice to talk with charisma or wisdom, or sometimes another skill of significance to the deceased.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is one of those. I mean, so to kind of line out my thinking, because of the notice check, and yes, in part because Chishin's forest of bamboo, you didn't get the most cooperative memory here. It came in as a hostile memory. Your talk check calmed it so that I am taking that into account. It is not going to be a difficult fix or survive skill check. But in the situation that this memory is finds itself in, the most significant needs to it are covered by survive or fix.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, that's
And I do apologize if the alternate skill comes as a surprise to you.
it's fine. Given I didn't really have too many choices left to me for picking abilities left anyway, and it's still interesting.
Your diplomat reroll ones will still apply to this because it is still diplomatic negotiations.
Right.
Mm.
That's enough. You know you've gone a bit too far for that to matter now. I'm going to go ahead and try this with survive.
Okay.
And this will be survive charisma. Reroll ones if necessary. There is a 1 there, so I'll reroll that.
Go ahead.
Do I reroll the second one?
Yeah, I believe it's reroll until you get I rule it as you reroll until you get something other than a 1. Okay.
Okay, so that's 5, so that'll bring me up to an 11.
Okay. Yes. What are you asking? That has calmed this memory that you're speaking with.
Okay. I'll go ahead and start with the simple one, like, what's your name? And force you to come up with a name on the spot. for making me go through all this, Dex.
That's fine. If you want to use your one
Oh,
question on their
you-
name, they can do that.
Oh, is it only one
no,
question?
no, it's not.
You fool! You absolute buffoon! You think Dex does not have multiple thematic lists of names prepared for different demographics, including
No.
this one, which is entirely dead?
All right,
Phil.
give me give me your whole backstory.
Her name is Waylay.
Waylay. What was your job, Waylay? Tell me, Dex.
You fool! You absolute buffoon!
Waylay was an ice mover. She
Nice move.
did hard work on the the surface of, well, the new ice surface of Rendalati, daily with a pick out in the freezing cold, hacking apart ice to bring it back to the tower so that they could crack it into energy.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Were you
on one of the lower floors.
Were you familiar with? Did you ever have the chance to meet any of the supervisors of your facility? Anyone anyone who was in charge of the tower itself?
There is a flash in the scene, and you can see Qixin as a young version of Qixin, just gaily as in happily running about the room. The scene has changed. Things are a little bit less dire. There's heat and people are just kind of congregating around. It's still a dismal life, but there's kids chasing each other and it's happy.
I'm speaking with Keishan now. Do you want to say anything to her?
The scene turns cold again.
I know it. I know. I understand how you're feeling. I understand how you feel. But she's still that girl you showed me. For everything, there's a lot of regret. I think you know that she would have helped you if she could. Despite everything, do you want to help her?
Roll me another survive charisma.
Okay. Where the fuck did my sheet go?
Did you hit escape? It's gone.
Yeah.
It got deleted.
Okay.
If you can't find it, you should actually. Okay, you found it.
All right. That's terrible. 7.
It is, however, sufficient for now. There's the very slightest bit of acknowledgement when asking if the deceased would want to help Chishin now.
All right. And now, living memory allows the deceased to speak through me.
Yeah, if you want to allow it.
Unless we get interested.
I can reclaim it at any time.
Mm-hmm.
But I will permit it. I'd suggest you tell her who you are first, though.
All right. So the rest of you have this whole scene has only been visible to Virgilia. The rest of you are seeing the pretty light works, and then Virgilia stiffens, as you've seen many times, a person possessed by an entity. and she looks over at Shishin, and Shishin says, or not Shishin, Virgilia says, Shishin, Zwele, fourth floor ice picker. Do not live with regret. You gave us many more months than we had. And the deceased departs.
And I think Virgilia just sort of blinks a little bit. Well, not exactly who I wanted to find, but did you know Waylay, Keishan?
She gave me food when I was little.
Okay. Well, that's great. Out of character, Virgilia is just thinking, great. I was hoping you would not remember her at all, and I'd look like a quack.
You were hoping that?
Yeah.
I was worried you wouldn't know her at all, and I'd look like a quack. Sorry.
The psychic that fishes the room for leads on people who've had cancer, and yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried about looking like that. Well, I was hoping to find someone a little bit closer, but
it is okay. Was that Twile?
it was an impression of her.
She died years ago. How?
Well, you're still carrying her with you in a way that's very difficult to describe, and again is not something even a lot of people, I think, carry weight like this with them. Maybe not to the same extent, but the same sort of weight. You're just doing it a little bit more literally than most. So it's kind of it's hard to say. I'll say it's hard to say because I didn't know this in particular was possible either.
Roll me a wisdom notice check. Anyone in the room can roll me a wisdom notice check.
Okay.
These are independent checks.
Well, I'll throw you a wisdom notice then.
Spiral getting back to his computer.
What?
There it is. Oh wait, no, that's Kana.
What's up?
Percy isn't in the room.
Percy isn't in the room. Right. My bad. All right. Well, Virgilia and Das. So Chishin says curses and rain again, sharply, as usual. Das and Virgilia, it feels less irritated at the imposition. That's usually what her cursing is irritation at an imposition on her time or attention. She likes to do her work, and she wants to do her work. Everything else that people are asking her to do or talking to her about is an imposition to be, well, to be cussed out. This is different. It's softer. You still can't understand what is being said, but it doesn't feel as directly annoyed with Virgilia. And it's a very short little outburst. And then she says, "It is nice to know that how Wele had felt. But I am still fine.
Of course.
I have put it behind me. I did what I had to do, and everyone there lived a little bit longer by the sacrifice of the others, those below. I didn't even pull the I didn't even cut the heat for the last 3 floors. They took their own lives so that I would not have to. And I survive, and I live here today to tell whatever stories I can tell, and to help the Raza with whatever the Raza is doing. And because of decisions made. I honor their sacrifice and their deaths. I regret that they had to happen, but I don't regret that they did happen.
I think Virgilia is hearing this, and she's actually thinking of Crew and what little memories she has of the previous cycle, because that arguably describes exactly what little she's gathered of her impression and the impression of the others who made it to Audrama to get to the next cycle. It's the same song, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, Kishin. If you do want to talk about this again, well, I'm not going anywhere for a while, so if you have time after your shift at some point, just when you feel up for it.
And now it's back to the annoyance cursing. She a little bit of a it's more under her breath. It's not as sharp as usual. It's definitely softer, but it's back to the annoyance. I have work to do.
Right. Of course. Just if you want to when you are on break.
Okay.
Well, didn't learn everything I wanted to know, but yeah. I've taken up enough of your time already.
Yes, you have.
So, yep. Great. Good to meet you.
She slides out of the room. She doesn't acknowledge or like, shake hands. She's just like, as soon as Virgilia says good to meet you, she is sliding past whoever she can to get out of the room.
All right, let her go. And she does. After she does, and the door closes again, she's like, "Well, she's not doing great, and whatever's going on there is it's a lot." All right. Well,
want to prompt this. Does Virgilia want to explain a little bit more about what that's like for crew to the to Kana and Das? Give them a little more
Yeah,
context.
I think she will.
Okay.
If there's any sort of prompting, she'll explain that. I guess like what it is to go into the memories.
Hmm.
She'll discuss the memory itself.
Hmm. On the tower. Yeah.
What about the one that I'm prompting because it has relevance is the difficulty of crew to possess or to
Ah,
navigate.
yes, that's right. She will. I guess she'll sort of come at that a little bit sideways. It's unfortunate. I was trying to. I was trying to reach something closer to her, but I guess in that cloud, I don't think Vega could easily navigate a cloud like that. It's too confusing, like being well. Crew described it kind of as like a hall of mirrors,
Hmm.
easy to get lost in. Still don't
Epic
know
music.
why. What's that?
Epic music.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Still don't know exactly why. Still, yeah. Thank you for the tea, Kana.
Anytime. Any excuse.
And gonna continue the prompting just a little bit before we end. A little bit later than I said we would, but still early. And say that what Virgilia described there. I mean, you're probably already thinking it, but I'm just gonna lay it out plain language. It does sound like Chishin's presence is a potential defense against possession.
Hmm.
Hmm.
The way Virgilia has described what crew perceives to be a difficult hall of mirrors to navigate.
Yeah, the impression that I got was that she's not immune, but she is sure as hell resistant.
She
And
is,
like
Yeah.
and
area
anyone,
effect resistant,
yeah, and anyone within 10 meters of her.
which is huge.
It's
Mm.
actually the range at which most entities can possess.
So as long as
Conveniently.
you're closer to Shushin than any entities, you're safe.
Yeah.
Mostly.
It
Safer.
occurs to me.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that it's almost as though the ghosts that are attached to Chishin have like a similar psychic presence to entities and are sort of confusing them or like confusing them
Hmm.
or maybe being potential decoy targets.
Actually, that is
Yeah, like almost,
It's,
almost
it's
like they're kind of
functionally
the opposite.
it's functionally like it's as though instead of just Chishin and the people standing around her, there are also 10,000 entities tethered to Chishin that are also valid targets that
Yep,
suffer no ill consequences.
that seems like a fairly reasonable take.
Which is hilarious.
Does that affect how she pings at all?
Ooh, that's a question.
Not at this level.
Okay.
No. I don't think that Kana would detect anything unusual about Chishin there.
Okay.
I will say, the first level of Ghosts in the Shell was not super exciting, but I'm glad we kept like supporting Chishin, I guess. You know?
Well, she once
I
she
don't know.
got that, she had the full benefit of it. I was just hiding it from you.
Okay.
I did
thought
not
we'd
want
done
you to
something
see
like made it evolve.
what she could do there.
Okay, I thought we were like we done something that made it evolve further. I guess I don't know. But
No,
yeah,
the
no,
only reason that you got it was for the what you did at the tower,
yeah,
though.
yeah. It does make sense that
Yeah.
it would come in like its full form there. But yeah, that's really cool. And I have something of a no, it's fine. No, no, I'm being silly. Don't worry about it. Moving
Okay.
on.
Are you sure you don't want to be silly?
Fairly sure.
Okay.
This is silly in like a completely incorrect way that was originally trying to be correct, rather than
Okay.
silly in a haha funny way.
Okay. Fair enough. Right. And I think that hits all the points that I wanted to hit today. For a shortened session. Are there any other scenes or any wrap up that any of you want to do before we call it a session?
Mm,
Did we already get the ship on board?
Yeah, that's all happening right now.
yeah.
Should probably
Nothing
talk
is-
to Shadow
Ooh,
about
good one.
the immediate like piloting plans.
Good one.
And maybe I'm awful with names. The newly installed AI should be there too.
Beth.
Beth. I can't believe that's all we've been talking about for like weeks, and I can't remember her name.
All right. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to approach that next session when we have more time?
I can do it now. It's not. It's like good. It's like a quick meeting.
Okay. Sure. Shadow is gathered, and Beth is given. Like, are you guys giving her a holographic projection?
You know what? Sure.
Something Vicky
Yeah.
could set up pretty quickly.
However-
Here's my here's
Good.
I have a quick question. Would it be possible to give her a holographic projection that she cannot like choose the shape it takes?
Let's see. Let me think about Al.
Gonna give an AI dysmorphia.
You can certainly try.
Oh, I'm not the one who's setting this up. I'm just asking, just for future reference.
Gotcha. So yes, one could certainly try, but I think the level of access that the AI would need to have to be able to, pantomime and emote through the hologram would give them more control than you want them to have. So even if you restricted the library and everything, then knowing Beth, she would just turn it into a staticky blob and be satisfied with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that sounds like her.
She'll be annoyed at first that she's a Barney the dinosaur.
Oh dear.
Myokin is more concerned with making sure that her consciousness is like her attention is where the meeting is.
Yeah.
If she wants the hologram in and we have the technology available, sure. If she just wants to be a voice in the intercom, also sure.
Yeah, you have Vicky, so I'm not even gonna ask anyone to make a roll. Vicky can set something up for the multimedia experience very quickly. That is what she does. And now that you've taken her off of the crew and given her, taken away her duties, she's Yeah, she's on board and quick to set it up.
Lulu, we gained Vicky's loyalty by taking her off the jobs that she wasn't really doing properly anyway, because she was trying to do her specialist stuff.
She was a terrible
Wait.
crew person.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah.
She failed upwards. This person's better at her job. Let's promote her.
In fairness, we promoted her into a job that she is better at.
Well, I guess it's better than how it usually goes.
You did that with the Acid too. She was adequate as a crew person, but that's not where her strengths were.
Acid used to just
I
be
think
crit.
Acid earned
Wow.
the promotion.
You think Acid did what?
Acid earned the promotion.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. Yeah, but yeah, no, Acid was just listed as a crew. The original Raza just had her performing crew duty.
Wild.
I mean, they were concerned that she might try to destroy all of humanity.
That might also have something to do with it, yeah.
It's fine.
All right, so yes, you've got a meeting set up with Shadow and a holographically projected Beth.
Awesome. Anybody else that wants to be there can be there. Otherwise, I will get started. This is just like a future planning thing. But this ship is only like drive 2, right?
Let me refresh myself.
The new fighter? Yeah.
Yeah, the new fighter.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
drive 2.
so yeah, so
Oh, and actually, I am putting something together. Nox, the Dark Horizon is actually a system drive, so you would not be able to drill it alongside the Raza. Does that change things?
so it can't go anywhere.
It can go anywhere it wants to in system.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the exploratory ship was the only one with an actual spike drive.
Oh dear.
Oh, okay. Can we cannibalize that?
You can
No.
change that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like we need to put something on this ship if we want to use it for anything that is outside of this area.
Well, you'll be
I
able to
mean-
take it with you in the Raza.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can dock it to the Raza and piggyback off that. It's not like we can't move it, but
also that,
I would guess if it's undocked, we probably don't want to do an emergency drill activation.
yeah.
Well, the Raza has
Just leave it
an actual
behind.
fighter bay into which it can be properly secured.
Actually, that's
Okay,
that's a question I have. Were these other ships still in this like area where we found this one?
They are in the fiction. Yes, they are. Mechanically, I was only intending to give you one ship.
Okay.
Um,
I was curious mostly because if like people really, if we really wanted and you were willing, we could just set up we can't take it with us, but we could set up a small skeleton crew in another ship.
yeah. The fiction is that they are here. My intent with giving you the leads was that you would take one ship. However, I'm not going to. If you want to go through some negotiations with Audrima for taking another ship, I'm not going to stop you. You've got Beth. She knows where all these things are.
And I don't think the negotiations would be too difficult. I doubt Audrima cares that much about these non-Audrima ships.
Congratulations, you just volunteered to negotiate for us.
They
Okay.
do want something, and so those ships are a bargaining ship.
A bargaining ship?
A bargaining ship.
A bargaining ship for whatever.
We got him.
Stop.
We need a bargaining ship for a bargaining ship.
Yes.
Exactly. See, you get it.
Yes.
You get it.
Okay, I was under the impression that this thing could fly somewhere outside of the system.
No, the Raza can carry it along in its fighter bay. It doesn't even have. It's not even like an external attachment. The Raza has space inside of it for the ship.
Okay.
It's something that you would fly to a different system, with the Raza and let it go. Let Shadow go and do Shadow things. It can carry one extra person. In theory, you can still carry more people uncomfortably and unsafely as long as you don't get into combat. That shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
So it is effectively a low emissions and stealthy dropship in all but name.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, hopefully we can eventually upgrade it to a Drive 2 at least.
Yeah. You will probably have to lose something from what it has in order to do that, because it's already more decked out than the standard fighter hull allows.
Understand.
Oh wow, that is cramped.
Yeah, I don't remember how much power and mass I actually used, but I know that I flubbed the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Very kind of you.
it
Very
is
kind
a
of you.
heavy fighter.
Okay. So yeah, no, this conversation literally doesn't need to happen then.
I realized late that that's probably what that was what you meant, and that yeah, it's not going to work. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Did you still
Can I
want to
use my thing to make it Drive 1?
No. Nice try though.
do your best?
Oh, effort.
Well, let's.
So
I still have a scene with Asta, and there has to be a scene with Koana, and we'll
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
do those
Speaking of
next
it-
week.
Didn't you have someone in medbay that you still have in critical condition or something?
Do we?
think so.
Maybe I'm misremembering. I could have sworn that was mentioned. Maybe not. Never mind.
Talk more. Talk more. What do you think about it? What is it about it?
No, I don't remember. I could have sworn there was like someone who was like in a coma or something.
We have dead guys.
No, that's
He's like, zombies.
I know about the zombies. I don't care about the zombies.
Rude.
You might have conflated me talking about the wreck of the Gudrun with
That could be it.
with the precog in a stasis tube.
That could be it.
Yeah, you got information about that, but she's not on the ship.
Okay.
I guess the last detail that the last thing that I'll say, because I want some kind of a cliffhanger and I want some kind of ooh moment, is that Crew is able to make differences between your androids. He recognizes which of these bodies are androids and says that they are not all the same.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Do we think he's just talking about Libra? It's possible it is just talking about Libra.
Oh, he's talking about Libra. He's definitely talking about Libra.
Could be talking about one of the Kevins.
No,
Yeah,
he's not talking about the Kevins.
Yeah,
He's not
Lulu,
talking
as a
about
plot,
Kevins.
as a plot bit, the Void Scorpions insisted that the Kevins are definitely both non-sapient androids. We tested them; they both failed the sapience test. We
Yep.
still have reason to suspect. What it is, or have reason.
Are you sure
Well,
that you
fair
got
enough.
reason to suspect, or that you're just being paranoid?
I mean, if we keep being correct,
I
is
mean,
it paranoid?
is there a difference?
Yeah.
How many times do we need to get it wrong before it's just paranoia, huh?
What if,
What?
It's fine. we had Kevin's last time too, except
Did you? Interesting.
well, not exactly Kevin's. We had exact duplicates made of each of our player characters.
And okay, that is different. That's
Okay.
interesting. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But we basically used them as Kevin's.
Okay. Do you know how we use the Kevins?
Not well, I imagine, because we didn't.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
They threw their android clones into the dangerous situations because they were the PCs were not good at combat.
That part at least sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Like we do have what 2 or 3 party members who can stand up in a combat situation, but we have one party member who is actually good in a combat situation.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah,
it's
it's
me.
like
Good in combat.
the party average is like vaguely okay in combat.
Yeah.
And then there's just like Das at one end just does not do combat at all, and all of the pulling down of the average that does is counteracted by Percy.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I was gonna say you do basically counter out my contribution to the average damage, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, you do much more than average. I do nothing in combat.
I think it's
Yeah.
fair to say that I do the work of. Actually, no, that sounds so big-headed. That sounds so big-headed.
I mean, no, look, hold on. A warrior's supposed to do that. It's fine.
True.
That's
Really
what
is,
you're
yeah.
supposed to be good at.
You,
Yeah, I think it's
you
fair to
did
say that
you did
combat,
kind of face tank trail, you know,
Yeah.
and live to tell the tale. I think is more the point as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've got to show you this. One sec.
if Das does 0 damage and you do 1 damage, you contribute infinitely more.
Yeah.
Yes.
That much is true.
All right, I'm going to take us into review.
I'll send you this.
I did want to ask if you actually wanted me to negotiate for the ship quick.
Not this session.
No.
We'll approach that next week.
Okay.